This is all that I've ever been to you. This is how I feel about you. Lies! All it is lies! Lies, lies, lies!
There's been a lot that has went down with Gypsy Rose that I feel like we need to talk about in this video. So there was a live stream from Sore Morbid X, and if you guys are someone who keeps up with Gypsy Rose, I'm sure you're familiar with him. He's a YouTuber. He has interviewed Ken a few times. He was the one who interviewed Cowboy, what was his name? Cowboy whatever, the guy who tried to come out and say that he was having a relationship with Ken, but then when Ken pressed him to show the videos that he had, he never did. And so he ended up doing an interview with Cowboy, with Ken several times. He's talked to other people in the Gypsyverse, but last night he ended up going live and he was talking about this drama between Ken and his sister, because his sister has been spilling some tea on Gypsy online. We're going to talk about some of the drama between Ken and his sister and what she has had to say. But basically, Sir Morbid X was doing a video. He was covering some of what Ken's sister had came out and said. There was a content creator by the name of Flawless Nina. She made a video and she said, look, I had a source come to me and they showed me a video where you can see Gypsy walking up to Ken's bed and you can see the headboard. And you guys know that infamous video back from when her mom was unalive that was used as evidence with her case. It was a video where she walked up and started stabbing a knife up by her mom's bed. Kind of had to show Nick the location and setup of her mother's room and how to do what she wanted him to do to her mother. Kind of looked like she's almost reenacting that video, but with Ken's bed. And they were claiming that her and Ken got in this fight. She grabbed a knife, went up to his bed and started stabbing at his bed with the knife. But it was used as a way, allegedly, to try to intimidate Ken. And as somebody who's a murderer, I would definitely be intimidated if someone made a video like that, let alone is walking around carrying a knife while they're angry. So the sister was on Sore Morbid X's panel, and then Ken came up and he was like, look, I'm telling you right now, if there's a video, I want you to go ahead and leak it now. You have my full permission. I'm not going to do anything, because the sister kept saying she couldn't leak the video for legal reasons. And Ken was like, no, I'm giving you full permission. I'm saying it on the record that I'm not going to do anything if you leak the video, and I want you to go ahead and leak the video. And she's like, oh, I can't do that. So now people are kind of like 50-50. Some people are believing there's a video. Some people are not believing there's a video of Gypsy doing that. The big question is, everybody was asking Ken in the comments, show us your headboard. And that's some tea right there. That is a very good question. Walk up and show us what your headboard looked like. And he kept saying, well, it's not even the same headboard. We got a different headboard. How do you know it's not the same headboard? So obviously you've seen the video, and you know it's not the same headboard that you have now that was in the video. You know, because if there wasn't a video, then you would say, okay, let me go show you my headboard. It's different, you know, and just leave it at that. If it's a different headboard, you could have just been quiet about that and people would have been like, okay, yeah, it's a different headboard. But the fact that he wanted to show it at all, definitely screaming guilty, because if there was a different headboard, then in my opinion, I think that would have helped his case and people would have been like, oh, yeah, maybe he is telling the truth. But the fact he said it was a different headboard, how do you know it's a different headboard? So there must be some kind of video out there. Ken kept denying there was a video, and he argued back and forth with his sister on this live. But here's the crazy part. The sister ended up getting mad. She jumped off the live, and then Ken was going on and on defending Gypsy. He said everything was going great with them. But then Sore Morbid X was like, well, I do have some video of Gypsy. Are you aware of this video? And Ken was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, okay, it's a video where she's going off. She has scissors. And Ken was like, he was trying to play dumb. And I think that he thought maybe Sore Morbid X really didn't have that video. And he's like, no, I got it. Let me show you. He pulled it up on the panel, and it was Gypsy going off, having a full-on meltdown while she ripped apart his blanket as the dog's in the background, like what the hell's going on. So let me go ahead and show you. This was a video that was leaked that has been confirmed by Ken Urker himself as real. This is, I guess, Gypsy very upset with Ken over something. A lot of people are assuming that Ken possibly cheated or she found something. We'll talk more about it after I'm done. Let's go ahead and watch it. Gypsy Rose had a meltdown and destroyed Ken Urker's blanket.
This is all that I've ever been to you. This is how I feel about you. Lies! All it is lies! Lies, lies, lies! Ugh!
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but you could tell she was trying to rip it apart at first. And then she's like, damn, this is harder than I thought. So she tries to resort to the scissors. But then you can tell she's struggling with the scissors. The scissors must be dull as hell, which I mean is probably smart on Ken's part because I would not leave no sharp scissors inside the house. But a lot of people are saying she wasn't using the scissors correctly. So she just starts slicing and dicing on Ken's blanket.
Fucking soulmates, the hell you are! The hell you are! Lies! All of it! All of it! All of it! Nothing but lies! Lies, manipulation! Fuck you! Go back to your bimbo blonde whore! Fuck you!
Poor dog's back there so confused. So Ken did admit that, yes, I have seen this video. I guess she sent this video to Ken when they're fighting. She didn't say exactly what it was over, but he acts like they've worked past whatever was going on. It's unclear what led up to Gypsy's decision to slice and dice Ken's blanket. I'm going to assume either he likely cheated, but then we also know that Gypsy has quite the jealousy streak. Like, she has literally threatened to break up with him in the past over things like finding an ex-girlfriend's hairbrush, over finding pictures of Ken and his ex-girlfriend from years ago still on his phone. There was a blogger by the name of Flawless Nina who said she got sent a video of Gypsy trying to stab the headboard. Okay, so she says now this is Ken's sister. She said now she's saying I'm only doing this for money and post a fake screenshot. So Gypsy shared some conversations with Ken's sister. Okay, so here is a message between Ken and Gypsy, or no, Ken's sister and Gypsy, where she said, I don't know how to word it because I don't want you to be upset, but woman to woman, mom to mom, just you and me, no TikTok around. I do know about the video. Of course I'm concerned. Gypsy, wouldn't you be? But still, I'd let that out of the public eye. I only addressed the Ryan rumor because, like I said, it was safer to address. But to accuse me or anybody of it being a false rumor, I can understand having to do so for the public, but for me, you don't have to lie. Then she said again, caught up over the fact that this may make money, and it's not about money, but it's intriguing. Y'all are mad that this may get me money. I didn't go for making money, but to be mad that it might when randoms have banked off y'all is offensive. Okay, ignore it, Gypsy. And Gypsy said, go F yourselves. And I believe that's what Gypsy said because that's what she kept saying to Ken in that video. And I promise you, as long as I'm around, you will never see your niece or brother again. I will never let a crazy junkie around my kid. And then she said, says the girl who murdered her mother. There's a reason you've never been around mine. I spoke from truth. You twisted that shit, and it's your fault that you are who you are. I can speak on what I want, but your threats don't scare me. And then she said, trying to blast my struggles right now like I didn't send that text last Sunday. That was never sent about the video outing it. That was said about the first video I did. So, okay, I guess this is a message where she sent to Ken and she said, I know you're not talking to me, but I'm here when you're ready. I told you I'm on some of the hardest times right now. After surgery, not being able to work, I've literally gone negative. And Ken did reveal in his interview with Sore Morbid X, him and Gypsy are blaming the reason that the sister is coming out now. They're like, oh, she's just coming out and making up lies so she can make money on TikTok because she's down bad. I guess the sister got her electricity shut off, or she's about to get her electricity shut off. So she told Ken, hey, I need some help. So Ken was like, okay, let me try to gather a few other family members and we'll go in and try to help her. Well, when he went to go try to pay the bill, he found out that she had racked up a $1,200 electricity bill and she hadn't been paying her electricity for months. And I guess a lot of the time she would ask Ken for money and she'd be like, oh, I need help for this. I need this for my kids. And he said that she kind of is always asking him for something. And he said that he used to always give her money, but now he quit giving her money because now a lot of times he'll give her the money and then she'll have nothing to show for it. Now he's like, okay, if you need help, if you tell me what bill it is, I'll just pay the bill for you. But after all this came out and she started speaking out, it sounds like he's not willing to help his sister at all, because she asked him, I need to get food for the kids tonight. I'm going to go to the food bank tomorrow. Can you help order a pizza? I can tell you how to get it under $10. And then she said, I accidentally sent that to Gypsy, and it sounds like she meant to send that to Ken. And Ken said, I don't trust any of you. Leave me alone. And she said, I haven't done anything to you to make you not trust me. And he said, you're making videos about me, making it worse. Okay, she said, I'm going to skip the first part. She's like, it wasn't me. I made the video to address everyone else. I worded that way so it would go on TikTok the way it did. Keenan, I'm on hard effing times. I don't know what you don't understand about that. If there was ever a way that I was able to potentially make money on TikTok, why would that bother you? You should trust by now to know that I'm not ever going to air out your business or anything. That's not what that's not what I'm doing. You have to trust that I have you and Aurora. I guess she's saying you and Aurora's back. Talk about when you didn't respond when I called it out privately. Stop using 5-day-old text as a scapegoat. That was because y'all were accusing me for being mean as sources and then blaming me for making a video. I was contemplating taking that video down when I sent that text because I hadn't even thought about the money aspect. So yeah, I was intrigued. Times are hard. Y'all are doing great. Okay, the fact that Gypsy's out here talking crap about Mackenzie Shirilla and saying, oh, she should never monetize her crimes and stuff like that, I agree. But the fact that she's trying to act like, oh, she's so much better than Mackenzie, you're just as bad. You have no room to talk. The only difference is you had someone else do the unaliving instead of you. But it's just crazy how she's out here getting millions of views on TikTok and making all this money. And it's all started from her murdering her mother. That's crazy. But, Dominic Russo, I believe it was Dominic Russo, Mackenzie Shirilla's ex-boyfriend's parents, they're actually fighting to start this thing called Dom's Law, where people who are criminals who went to prison and did time and were found guilty of violent crimes like murdering someone, attempted murdering, stuff like that, they feel like they should not be able to profit off interviews, off social media. And I agree. They have the Son of Sam laws, and that's why we see people from Love After Lockup, when they first get out their first season, they can't make money because that's considered making money off their crimes. The inmates don't get paid, but the people out on the outside do. And then after the second season, if they come back for Life After Lockup, then they start making money. But it's crazy to me that Gypsy Rose was able to find some kind of loophole around that, and she was able to get out and monetize off her show Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, and she's able to make all these books and stuff like that. And Dom's Law is going to try to fight against that because Mackenzie Shirilla is trying to do the same thing Gypsy Rose did. She's trying to get out and write a book and do all kinds of stuff. Oh, she addressed the blanket video. Let's see what she had to say. To those asking, yes, I'm okay. The blanket video was from last year. Navigating a complex dynamic relationship and emotions were difficult. Many disagreements are the result of poor communication and hurt feelings surrounding ex-partners. Oh, so it's something dealing with his ex. The blonde one that she probably found his hairbrush in the first season of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. Or no, was it the second? Yeah, the second season, I think. She said, we have been working hard on betterment of our communication and understanding. We are in a much better place currently. A little wisdom learned the hard way. Let the past be the past and do not bring past relationships into current relationships. I mean, I understand being upset, but she's also done some foul things, like constantly reaching out to Ryan Anderson behind Ken's back. And it's not just her just saying, oh, Ryan, telling Ryan like important things that he needs to know. It's like literally her reaching out to Ryan, doing attention-seeking behavior as a way to boast her own ego. Okay. Ooh, wow, this is some tea. Okay, shout out to Conspiracy, aka Recovered Mom 1 on TikTok. She covers a lot of Gypsy Rose stuff. If you guys are familiar, then you know. But I guess, let me break out my glasses. These are text messages, and I think these were brought up in Torn Morbid X's live last night. But these are the first time that I'm actually reading the physical text messages. So these are alleged Gypsy Rose and Ken Urker text messages leaked. Okay, so she goes, I'm going for sole custody. I took pictures of you stabbing the headboard and smashing pictures all over the ground. You were not allowed. Ooh. Okay. That makes sense. Here he is, if these messages are true, confirming the headboard pictures, which would explain why he didn't want to show his headboard. And if she's literally ripping up blankets on video as a way to try to intimidate him, I wouldn't be shocked if it progressed, especially knowing she's a murderer. So he said, I'm going for sole custody. I took pictures of you stabbing the headboard and smashing pictures all over the ground. You were not allowed. Why can I say that? Why do I keep combining those words? You are not allowed around Aurora anymore, unsupervised. You are too unpredictable and dangerous, and I can't have that around my child or Parker. This is officially done. And she said, I'm so sorry, I was drunk. And I think it was Nina who said that they have been fighting a lot. And Gypsy Rose, there's been rumors that she's an alcoholic, allegedly. I can't say if that's true or not, but there's been rumors that she has been drinking too much, and she'll drink around Aurora and then have these like mental breakdowns. And, some people are happy drunks. Some people are mean drunks. And it sounds like Gypsy is one of those mean drunks when she drinks too much. She said, I'm so sorry, I was drunk. Please don't take Aurora. I told you I needed to punch a pillow and get out these hurt feelings. I'm sorry for trashing the headboard and smashing the frame. That was unnecessary. I would never in a million years hurt anyone. Okay, except your mother. I came home and I was very hurt, so I threw some stuff around and yes, took some of that anger and pain out on an object. Okay, now it explains why they got a new headboard, because she destroyed it. It all makes sense now. It doesn't make it right, but I did. And then I left to spend the night here and cut off to cool down. Keenan, I love you with all my heart. That is why it hurts so much. We built our family together, a life together, and I don't know why it's not enough for you. I have not always been the best girlfriend, but I truly want to be better. I need a fresh start without memories of the past. I thought a new house, new furniture, new beginning. That's why I bought all new things for us. Post from the sister where she's like, yeah, I'm struggling. I need money. And Gypsy and Ken are just holding on to that for dear life as a way to say, yeah, she's a liar because she said she needs money. Well, needing money doesn't automatically mean that person's willing to do anything to lie about whatever is going on to get that money. And we've seen more evidence that sides with the fact that this headboard video may be out there versus evidence that it may not. So what do you guys think about all this? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching.